everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys the top programming languages you need to learn in order to get a job. So there are hundreds of programming languages out there, and they always fluctuate in between demand and popularity. So there's a common question that every beginner programmer asks, and that is, well, which one should I learn? And should I learn all of them? And no, you should not learn all of them. That is actually a very rookie mistake to think that you have to know all languages in order to be a programmer. You actually only need to know one or two really well. So that is that. And also when starting out, it is always good to pick a language that is very mainstream because there's just a lot of resources and a big community to help you out in order to learn. In this video, the languages that I chose are actually based on these top 3 criteria. Number 1 being how demanding it is in the job market. Number 2 being that the popularity is either increasing or it's stable. And number 3, knowing that it is firmly established. I will also be listing what job titles and fields you can get into depending on what language you learn. And I'm also going to be linking my top resources for each language that I mentioned in order for you to learn for free. Number 1 is one of my personal favorites, which is Python, and this is a great universal language that I feel that most schools are now teaching because it is just really simple to pick up. Also, it is very open source and community driven, so there are so many tutorials out there for you to learn Python. And also with Python, there are so many libraries that you can use depending on what you want to build, which is so awesome. Talking popularity wise, Python is actually ranked number 1 most popular language in 2020 with a 4.3% increase compared to last year. It also recently surpassed Java in GitHub, so that is pretty huge. Also, Python is getting a lot of traction because new and innovative technologies are starting to use it, such as machine learning, AI, data science, and cybersecurity, which all of those happen to be Python driven. So obviously the job market is high and there is a lot of demand for Python developers. Also, since Python is a very beginner-friendly and just readable language, there's a Stack Overflow survey that shows that you do not need that much experience in order to get a high salary job with Python. Also, since Python is actually a pretty easy language to pick up and extremely readable, there's a Stack Overflow survey that shows that you actually don't need that much experience in order to get a high-paying job being a Python developer. So that is great news because especially as a new programmer, you really want that. So overall, Python is a really great language to learn, especially if you want to get into AI, machine learning, data science. You could even do back-end development with Python. So it is a great language, and again, just super universal, and honestly, I think it's one of the best languages for you to start with. Next is my other favorite, which is JavaScript. And JavaScript is what I personally use at work every single day. And it is also just like the king of web development. So JavaScript adds interactivity to websites. So sites such as Google Maps or Facebook all use JavaScript. And although it may seem a little bit challenging, I still believe it is a beginner-friendly language because 1, it is built into the browser, 2, it has pretty simple syntax, 3, it has a huge online community that can help you with any JavaScript related questions, and 4, there are lots of tools out there to make your job easier. Also, since the whole internet is basically all web related, there are so many job opportunities. Therefore, it is in such high demand, and that is also why they teach it a lot in coding boot camps, because there's so much demand for it that they know that this is a great language to do because it's not that hard to get started and it is in demand, it is high paying, so it is a win-win for all. So with JavaScript, there are 2 main pathways that you can choose. There is front end, which is what I do and my personal favorite, which is just very visual. It is how the user interacts with the site and also just focuses on the functionality of the UI, which is user interface. So it's very user-centric and how the user interacts with the site. Versus there's backend, which is basically, or in simpler terms, how the data is served. There's also a full stack developer, which is basically combining both. So you're doing both the front end and the back end. So that is usually seen more in startups or smaller companies because they just hire one person to do everything. Whereas once you go into bigger companies, companies, they kind of split it off into two. So that's kind of like how I've seen it. But I feel that if you do go within JavaScript, I think it's useful to learn both sides anyways. Even if you do specialize in front end or back end, I think it's useful to at least know how it works on the other side that you're not specializing in, because that will just make you more versatile and just understand more. So overall, if you're into websites or the web or just interested of how it works, then I would definitely recommend learning JavaScript. So the next language is Java, and Java has been around for such a long time. I believe it was released in 1995, and within the first 5 years it actually gained so much popularity, and the fact that it's still popular now says a really good thing about Java. But I do have to say that even though it is quite popular, it is slowly decreasing in popularity, just because I feel that Python is kind of taking over, just because it's more innovative, and AI, machine learning, that's like kind of what's hot in the market right now, and Python is driving that. So I feel like that's why Python is kind of taking off and Java is slowly going away. But I do have to say that Java is extremely foundational, and I feel that if you learn Java, it is really simple to pick other languages up. So for example, what you would write in Python would be something like this, versus what you would write on Java would be like this. So you can tell that Java is just more foundational and more in depth, and I feel that overall that will just help you be a better programmer. So I totally still recommend learning Java because it is very foundational and you will get a greater sense of how programming works, and it is still hugely in demand. Also, Java takes a lead in Android app development, so if you're into Androids, then that will definitely be a good language for you. And it is also used in enterprise app development as well as backend development. So if you're into those fields, then Java will be a good pick for you. The last language I'm mentioning is Swift, which takes the lead in iOS development, or just like the Apple ecosystem. And yes, this was built by Apple engineers. So this includes your mobile apps on your iPhone, Apple TV, as well as your Apple Watch, and also just any Mac desktop applications you have. Those are actually built with Swift. Now, the reason why I mentioned Swift is because it is growing in popularity, because phones and mobile apps are becoming a thing that a lot of companies want to use, or just startups that want to create mobile apps. I feel that there is a huge rise in that trend recently. So if you want to get into building an app or just learning how to do so and how it works, then mobile app development using Swift is a really good one for you to do if you're more like Mac or iPhone oriented. It is also quite easy to learn, and there is a huge community online. And I also just really like the IED, which is Xcode, because you can easily just view all your work there, and I don't know, I just really find it really nice. So if you're curious about how apps work, then I would definitely recommend this language to you. So yeah, those are the top in-demand programming languages that you can learn as a beginner, and also you don't even need college experience nowadays. What is so great about tech is that you really just need to learn these skills and be really good at it and build that portfolio, and you can get a job that way. And I think that's why software engineering is gaining such traction and such popularity, just because you don't need all these certificates in order to become a software engineer, and it pays really well. And I don't want to just say like, oh, like do software engineering because it pays well, because that is not why you should do it. And if you just want to go into that field just because it pays well, then I don't think you would enjoy it that much, because it is all about building and being creative and curious about how to build. So that is my take on it. Let me know which top programming languages you think are most in demand or beginner friendly. Just anything, leave it down in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, all that fun stuff. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.